Hey everyone, I want to do another quick shout out to our sponsor, CodeMagic. Do you want to speed up the development of your Flutter app and release much more frequently? Try out CodeMagic. It's a CI/CD designed specifically for Flutter developers. CodeMagic helps you to automate building, testing, and publishing your apps to all the different stores. It's easy to set up, has extensive docs, and gives you complete control over the build machine. Also, CodeMagic offers 500 free build minutes per month with their blazing fast M1 Mac build machines. See more at flutterci.com. Hello and welcome to another episode of Flying High with Flutter. I'm your host, Alan Wyma. Today I'm with Lucas Josefiak and Jens Horstmann. I'm sure I said those last names wrong. Lucas is the CEO and Jens is the... Did I say that? I feel like I'm saying that wrong. Maybe you need to correct me later. Jens is the CTO of a company called Widgetbook, who creates... I'm not even sure how to say it. I don't want to say it wrong. I want to let you guys take over. So maybe Lucas, you can kind of explain what it is for you guys work on and let me know if I got your names wrong.
Yeah, sure. No worries. So we are basically building an open source collaboration platform for developers and designers with Widgetbook. And in the core of Widgetbook, as we said, it's open source. So in the core, we have a storybook solution for Flutter, and it can be used by everyone for free. That's basically the magic behind Widgetbook.
There's a lot to talk about over here because your tool is quite interesting. Maybe you can kind of start from the beginning, right? So how did you guys meet? First of all, there's actually three of you together, right? Just one is manning the phone in the office, is what I heard.
Yes, right. So we are all from the same city in Germany. The city is called Paderborn. It's between Cologne and Hamburg in Germany, and we all studied there. Julius, the third co-founder, and me were studying together. And then we met Jens at an event for interested people in entrepreneurship who like to build startups. And Jens was actually pitching us his idea, and we were quite excited from the first day because we also knew the problem since we also can write software, have also felt the pain of developers and designers not really being able to communicate well together. And we are coming from a web development background, so we developed web apps in the past, mostly with React. And have always been using Storybook.js in those projects. And when we came to Flutter, first we realized, okay, there is like no Storybook solution for Flutter available. And then we first of all just built it in-house for our internal usage. And then basically some other web development friends who also switched to Flutter were like, hey guys, could you please share your internal tool with us? And we were like, yeah, okay. Why not open source it? And we made sure basically from the first day that there's like no doubt that the open source package will be maintained properly. So we created a Discord server and basically got great feedback from the first day of the release. And then actually our users kind of pushed us to pursue Widgetbook full time. Because they told us, hey, Widgetbook is already a great tool for developers, but it would be amazing if we have the chance of sharing our Widgetbook with designers as well, or product owners, or clients, basically with non-developers who are involved in review processes. And we were like, that's really a good idea. That's something that we could pursue. And we built a quick MVP of the collaboration platform, got great early traction, and decided then, okay, let's go all in, start a company, which is also named Widgetbook. We then quickly won our first paying customers as well. We're then able to also close a funding round, which we closed in the past weeks, are now able to expand our team a lot. So we are now building really a great product team, could also hire people who are quite known in the Flutter community, which is of course great because they are not only great developers, but they are also popular in the community. They are known. They can really help us to build a bigger Widgetbook community and spread the word as well.
You were mentioning that you're like hiring people in the community who are kind of well known, so they're basically like influencers trying to kind of spread the word about Widgetbook, right?
Yeah, no, I mean they are hired as software engineers, and they are really helping us building an even better product. But basically, while doing so, because they are also known in the community, they of course also spread the word, basically while doing things that they love while building great software. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Who's actually part of the teams that we may know?
There's Roa Kadam, who you may know. She's a great software developer currently living in Istanbul. She has reached the amazing 10K follower Twitter 10K followers on Twitter milestone, I think, past week. And then we also have Eric Mooley on board. Eric has been organizing Flutter meetups in Africa, in Kenya to be precise. And yeah, he's also well known and well connected in the scene. So we're super happy with both of them and have so far built a great product team, which are currently also expanding. Yeah.
I kind of want to go back a bit. So you said you were in web development first, and then you guys switched over to Flutter. Like, how did that happen?
Yeah, so basically while studying or even before that, we came to coding, and unfortunately, like there are no courses at university, at least in Germany at that time. Maybe it was different in the US or somewhere where you could actually learn Flutter in school, but we just started with web development, and then basically pursued some projects there. Then Jens was actually the one that got into Flutter. Maybe Jens can explore a little how he found out about it and what maybe was so fascinating in the beginning.
Yeah, sure. Would love to tell the story. Yeah, I'm Jens Horstmann, very German name. Yeah, I've been developing with web for a while, and a friend of mine actually said he's now developing an Android app. I was like, interesting. It's really cool to develop an application for your mobile phone, something you're always around, you're always using. I was like, okay, let me look into how this works. And I was experimenting with Android for a few hours, and then I realized I don't really like the process. And I also knew that there is Xamarin. Was also looking into Xamarin as well. Realized, okay, it has some similarities, kind of, but at the same time I don't know, I didn't feel too much vibe going into Xamarin by then. And then I continued my research, and then I've seen Flutter. Somehow it got my eye. I wanted to use it, wanted to try it out. And then obviously that was in 2018. Obviously started with some sort of to-do app, and that really got me into the whole Flutter ecosystem, into the community. And yeah, from there on I really increased my hours, ramping up the hours using Flutter, using the SDK, which was just amazing. Felt really good. Always really quick, really responsive, short development cycles. And yeah, pretty much the day where I developed my first to-do app and got hooked deep into Flutter. And a few years later, like 4 years later, we are now sitting here in this podcast.
So is this the highlight of your Flutter career now?
This podcast? Yeah, for sure.
Okay. I don't know if I believe it, but it sounds good. So you said mostly this is Jens' idea. Is that what I remember hearing right? So Jens, like, kind of, where did you get this idea from?
Yes, at that time where I was experimenting with Flutter, I was in a larger team. We were developing an application for other engineers actually, and by implementing this application, we realized that especially the collaboration process between the designers and the developers is really something that can be optimized on. At that point, we used, as Lucas already said, we used Storybook, and that helped a bit, but was still potential to be optimized. It's great to see all the components, the whole catalog that you have been able to experiment a little bit around with, also different stories, or what we call use cases. And that was the point where I was like, okay, that is a really interesting concept that can be applied to Flutter. And then I actually got the idea to put it to the next level, and even improve the whole collaboration process further. So yeah, the idea basically came from working with Storybook, and then also like experimenting with Flutter at the same time.
Yeah, that's right. This is basically like Storybook that React has for Flutter, right? That'd be like the.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it wrong to say that, or because everybody's shaking their head yes? Because sometimes sometimes, you say something and people are like, no, it's totally not like that, even though like it looks like that. Yeah, and that's the cool thing. Like, what kinds of people would be interested in this, right? Because I think this is something that works for both in development teams and also with designers, right? And not even that, even outside, like with business, like who would you say are kind of like the main stakeholders when it comes to actually using this tool?
Yeah, so there we really have to differentiate between the open source part, so basically the open source Widgetbook, and then Widgetbook Cloud, which is the collaboration platform for developers and designers. And the open source package is basically perfectly suitable for your development team. Even see individual developers using it because what we offer here, first of all, isolated environment where you can really build your widgets or core components in isolation. So you don't need to bother with logic or data binding or anything. You can really just focus on the UI. And basically, while developing your widgets in isolation, you are, of course, faster in the UI development process. And while doing so, you can use our Widgetbook generator, which is a code generator that we developed for Widgetbook. So you either have the option of basically only using our core open source package, which is Widgetbook, or you can also use our core package Widgetbook together with the Widgetbook generator package. And then you benefit from code generation. The code generation is annotation based, so it's super similar to Freeze. I don't know, Alan, have you ever used Freeze before?
I love Freeze.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, then you're gonna love Book Generator as well. So that really allows you to speed up your setup and then also your maintenance process with Widgetbook. And basically, while developing your widgets faster with Widgetbook and using the annotations, your widgets are really automatically organized in a Widgetbook. And for everyone that is currently not able to maybe check out the website or PubDev site or something, we can really describe it as a very organized list where you have the opportunity of using custom organizer folders to, first of all, organize your widgets in different categories where you could, for example, say, hey, I'd like to have all my atoms in one folder. Or you could even have subfolders where you say, okay, and now even in those atoms, I have a separate folder for my buttons. Or if you have like multiple floating action buttons, you could have a subfolder of the subfolder with like just the floating action buttons folder. And then you can see use cases for all of your widgets, or you can define use cases for all of your widgets. Meaning when you, for example, have this floating action button, you can have a primary use case and, for example, also a secondary use case. In the primary use case, for example, this button is blue, and in the secondary use case, this button is black. Or you could define different states of the button, when it is, for example, clicked, when it is hovered, or when it is not clicked yet. And you could also test all of those different behaviors with Widgetbook, because as soon as you select a use case of a widget, this widget comes into life in the Widgetbook UI. And you would basically just open your simulator. And what we recommend you to do is to open your Widgetbook or to run your Widgetbook on macOS or on Windows, depending on which machine, or Linux, depending on which machine you're using. You could also run it on web. But as we all know, unfortunately, that's something that is out of our control. We cannot solve it, unfortunately. On web, there's like no hot reload option. So we recommend you to go with the desktop approach. And then you will basically see your widget in action and have the opportunity of testing it with our properties. And testing it with our properties mean you could test it in all the different configurations, meaning you could test it on different device sizes, you could test it on different themes, you could test it in different localization settings, you could test it on different text scale factors, and even some more. And you also have always the opportunity of testing it simultaneously in a side-by-side comparison. And that really allows you to speed up your development process quite a lot. Yeah, so that would be the one, Alan, where I would say that's something where the development team is actually benefiting a lot from.
So you could even test it like with right to left languages, left to right, kind of side by side, see how it looks.
Right.
And I can imagine you can also test it where one is like some kind of desktop view or wider view and some is smaller view, right?
Right. So what we can do, to give a hint, to not only tune in via the audio format, but also to join Alan's amazing YouTube channel. I could also quickly share my screen and show you maybe how it looks in live. Alan, what do you think?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, perfect. So welcome to Widgetbook. And what we can see here on the left side is what I just explained. We can see the organizer folders, which you can totally customize. We're seeing this widget book currently for our recipe app. It's like a very, very basic app that I developed about a year ago. And as we said, Jens is our CTO, so he is really the one driving the magic behind Widgetbook. I'm not the best developer, but I'm always trying my best. And I organized the app in a way that we have our material buttons. And the material buttons are really just like the root components of Widgetbook, like atoms that you can organize. And then you could also use it to organize molecules, so more complex widgets. Like this one, as I said, you can do it in multiple use cases. For example, long title or short title. With a long title, we can see, okay, there was an overflow here. As I said, I'm not the most experienced developer, so I kind of messed up here. And then you could also see entire screens such as this one. And one benefit of having Widgetbook and then being able to share it also with your team is what you're seeing on the screen, how the widget is rendered here, even on the cloud, is it's not a screenshot or a PNG file or something, but it's like the very widget. So we developed the collaboration platform also in Flutter and Dart. So you have the opportunity of interacting with your widgets and therefore being able to, for example, add your favorite recipe. I don't know, Alan, but I'm just assuming you like pizza. So I could add Alan's pizza as a recipe, click on save, even test animations or workflows here. And then I'm also able to change the properties, as I said, where you have the opportunity of testing it in different configurations. So I could go for dark and light theme, but you could also define many more themes. So we, for example, have an app agency as a client who developed an app for a big automotive player. And they, for example, have their app in, I think, 8 different themes. So you're not only limited to those 2 themes. You could also test it in a side-by-side comparison. Also have the opportunity of testing it on different device sizes. And
maybe let's slow it down a bit, right? So
sure.
I understand what you're saying, and I could see it all in front of me. I kind of want to slow it down because it's hard to visualize this. I mean, what it's kind of interesting. So I saw at the top level you have something called use cases, right? So is that typical for all kinds of widget books? Is that you have everything divided by what you call use cases?
Yeah, so I mean, you basically have the option of defining those use cases. So what we see from our clients is that they either have multiple use cases for their widgets, or sometimes they also only have one use case. That's, for example, we also see with our add recipe screen here. So for the add recipe screen, we have only one use case, the default one, and then we don't need to bother creating multiple ones. So you can also only create one use case. But we really, what we are striving for with Widgetbook is to be able to help every Flutter team in the world, no matter what their processes are. And we do not want them to switch their entire process and adapt it like fully to Widgetbook, but we would like that Widgetbook is able to adapt to our users' processes.
Well, what's really cool too, right? So people can actually see it. So you have use cases, and you have a top level folder for each one of what you guys call use cases. You have widgets, and you have screens, and you have material. We haven't gone over material yet necessarily, at least deep enough.
Yeah.
So what was really cool is that you have a widget, and in this case, it's ingredient amount. Is it amount info? Yeah. And then underneath there, that also opens up, and you have short title and long title, so you can see what a short title looks like, what a long title, which is what you kind of explained. So that's pretty cool.
Right.
So you can kind of see what things look like, because I'm sure people will say, well, what about this? What about that? And then that's what those kind of what would you even call that kind of thing? Like sub example or something, or just example? Those kind of like subtitles you have underneath over here.
Yeah, so we call them, so we basically say that's a category here. And so the use cases are a category. Then we have folders. In this case, we have widgets, screens, and material, but you could call it whatever you like. And then we have widgets. So the ingredient amount info is a widget, or in the annotation, we say it's the Widgetbook component. And then we have our use cases, and annotation speaking, those are our Widgetbook use cases.
Yeah, and I also see that Well, what I like about this is that you can actually show us kind of like, well, what if this and what if that to people, and I'm sure you probably already know people who already have questions about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're interactive too. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And then so what people who are on this in the audio part may not see is that on the right hand side, like you said, you have those properties. Now these properties are, you have to define these, right? Because I see you have only two devices that are shown here, iPhone 12 and S21 Ultra. That's something that you need to define yourself, right?
Right, but here again, the great thing is that first of all, we give you the opportunity of basically just using a list that we already created, and in this list that you can use, we already provide you with all Apple devices. We tried to do it with Android as well, but then we said, okay, let's get our priorities straight and let's try not to include all the 10,000s of Android devices, and therefore allow you as a user also to add your own custom devices, basically able to put in whatever a device frame that you like. So you could also test your widgets on, I don't know, the smartwatch that I'm currently showing in the camera. You could also test it on the biggest flat screen that you can envision. Basically, no limits to using Widgetbook.
Okay, I see. And obviously this whole UI and everything is all written in Flutter itself, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, it doesn't kind of seem a little bit like Inception, where you're writing Flutter with kind of more Flutter stuff inside. I just feel like a little bit kind of futuristic.
Right, Alan, we are in a simulation inside a simulation here.
Yeah, I do like this. I like that, like you can kind of show like edge cases or just examples for like things like, okay, here's the base widget, and here are some concrete examples of what that would look like. That could go great for things where it's like, well, if you're like an admin and a regular user, or if you're a VIP user or whatever kind of sub-user thing, how things may look.
Yeah.
Or even, like you said, you can use this for showing, what was the example? Different languages, right?
Yeah, right. And I mean, the demo app that we are showing you here is like super basic. And the great thing is that we now also have the capacities in the team to work on let's say a more detailed demo app, and therefore in the next few weeks we are releasing a new demo app that can really showcase all the different use cases that you have for Widgetbook. So we're already quite excited of releasing it soon and basically showing the Flutter community what is all possible with Widgetbook, because with a limited demo app, the user, or in this case the visitor of the stream, or the ones that are listening on just the audio format, they still probably are thinking, okay, but how could I include it in my app? That's not like a real world example that you have here. But for all of those people, no worries, we got you covered soon.
Yeah, this is really cool. I really like this one. And what you're showing us here right now is actually all free. All this stuff is all part of the open part, right?
So basically, we are currently already on Widgetbook Cloud. So we're currently hosting it on the collaboration platform. But all the features that you're currently seeing on this screen, they are free, and they can be used by everyone in the world. And you can use it in your developer team. And basically, as soon as you are like, okay, let's go for it. Let's share it with my design team. Let's share it with my product owner, with my maybe product marketing manager, or with my clients even, and have a structured review process. Then you would go for the cloud, and we can also show you in a few minutes maybe also the other features that we have readily available on the cloud. So it's not only about hosting the Widgetbook, but it's also about giving you the opportunity of having like a very organized, structured, and guided review process that really simplifies the collaboration with your entire team and allows you to align design and code as much as possible.
Take it away.
Yeah, sure. Okay. then we already go for it. So I try to explain it as well as possible for everyone who's tuning in visually. So maybe first of all, to give you an idea of how you can basically get your Widgetbook in the cloud is that we wrote actions for the most popular CI/CD tools that are available. And maybe, Alan, to include you a little in the discussion and ask you questions as well. What are like CI/CD tools that you mostly use? Are you using GitHub Actions, for example?
I've used them. I'm not a huge fan of them. I just feel GitLab is a little bit easier for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I because like I said, it's actually not like I said. It feels a bit like a black box at times, like these random packages that you have to choose and configuration. I just feel like really weird. But where GitLab, it's like, okay, I know what a bash script is. I could just bash everything out. It's very simple. I know the commands.
Yeah. And I mean, there again, like we're really striving for including all your different or of giving you as many integrations as possible to allow the user to not needing to switch their processes. So we are not only supporting GitHub Actions, but we're also supporting GitLab or Bitbucket or Azure DevOps. We can also support many more CI/CD tools, and we basically allow you to include Widgetbook just in your CI/CD pipeline. And how we're doing it is with those actions. So you can basically create an action where you can define basically that every time you're running your action, you can upload the latest state of the Widgetbook. And what would then happen is if you are on Widgetbook Cloud and you edit your project and you run your action for the first time, what will happen is that we can show you a great list of all the different branches of your repository and basically connect your repository to Widgetbook. And then we allow you to see all of those branches. And for all of those branches, we give you the opportunity of seeing multiple builds. And then we allow you to view one Widgetbook per build. So basically that anytime you're having a new change, and you would like to communicate those changes back to your team, you can do it via Widgetbook Cloud. You could then load your build and see your latest Widgetbook.
And obviously, this is the part that's a paid feature, right?
Yes, that's okay. Yeah, that's one of the paid features. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense because this is all in your infrastructure, right? So you have to handle all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. We handle all of that stuff for our users. Yeah, Alan, maybe for you, what do you think regarding your projects? Would that be already something where you say, hey, that could be interesting for you?
I think what could be interesting is, you mean this particular feature, right? Where you can host it and show it to people. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine like so many of my clients that they do want to see some of these kind of widgets because sometimes they ask me to, design. So we have a designer, right? But usually designs that come in Figma. They're what I would call 2D and not movable, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe you guys have had the same thing where it's like you sit down, you design everything. You can 100% spec out something. Literally, like you just code up everything or Figma everything. You hand it to them. They say, yes, this is exactly what I want. And then you give it to them and it's in their hand. And then they say, actually, no, not quite what I want after I got it in my hands. Like, yes, I know this is what I wanted at the time, but now I have it. I feel not right because it feels different when I use it. This kind of feeling, right? So many times where it's like I build these things and I get that kind of reply. So it's not really a problem of them, not really a problem of me. It's just like it just doesn't fit. So I can imagine like I build out some kind of component and he gets to check it out and try it and say, yes, this is cool, or no, this is not, or I want to tweak this, or can we, this kind of stuff. And especially if they can play with properties, it's even better. Like what if we did light mode, dark mode? How's this thing look? Because also a lot of times I get stuff where it's like, hey, this on my phone, like he's got like an iPhone 7 or something, or 5 or something. It's super small screen, and we never tech against that. So these kind of things would be super useful.
Yeah, that really leads to another feature that we have already available on the cloud, and that's our reviews feature. So you are basically talking about the collaboration that you could have with designers or also with clients, and that's something that we like to simplify even more with the reviews feature. And again, here our clients fortunately put the idea in our head because they were telling us, hey, it's already amazing that I can share my entire widget book with my designers or clients or product owners. But it would be even better while we are in this process of iterating very quickly in our team, that I do not overwhelm my team members with sharing them this entire catalog of widgets, but that I can only share the widgets that have been changed in comparison to my last build or in my last PR, for example. And that's something that we're achieving with the reviews feature. So we're basically seeing that we are able to show a PR here. So there was a fix being made that we currently want to merge in a branch, and you can imagine it's very similar to this code diff that all of us know from our PRs in GitHub, or in your case, Alan, from GitLab, where we can analyze which lines of code have been changed previously. And here we could analyze that the ingredient amount info widget, for example, changed. And we could then see, okay, it changed for those both two use cases here. And we then have the option of having a side-by-side comparison. So on the left side of the reviews feature, we're seeing how did the widget look in the past, in the old version, in the old build. And then on the right side, we see, okay, how does it currently look? What does it look in the new build? And we could here, for example, see, or for everyone on the stream, we could see that previously we messed up a little, so there was an overflow on the screen. And then you have the option of writing a comment. And here, for example, I could write the comment, hey, the title is too long. We should make sure to change it. We send a comment, notifications are sent to the developer. The developer now knows, okay, I need to do something because Lucas rejected those changes here. Then the developer made a new approach, uploaded a new build. It now looks good. There's like no overflow anymore. Lucas could accept those changes. We know everyone is happy, and then have a transparent list where we see basically, okay, which widgets are already accepted, which look good, and which widgets still require some work to do.
Yeah, and obviously this is a paid feature, right? But this is
that's
cool.
a paid feature as well. Yeah.
Well, actually, here's one thing too. Is I tried looking at your pricing. It's a little bit deceiving, right? Because you go to pricing expecting numbers, but there's no numbers, right? You obviously show the open source, but then the scary thing is you have the you want the paid one, book a time with us. Oh, what does that mean? That sounds a little bit nervous. I'm going to ask a hard questions like, what are we looking at for pricing? Is that something we can release, or is that depends on how big is our wallet? Then the pricing will change.
Yeah, sure. So, Alan, you really have to be lucky here in this call because what we are sharing with you is actually our early access version. So there are not a lot of or let me put it differently. We are in early access stage currently, and we are quite picky of choosing our customers, where we say, okay, we really like to work together with you at this early stage. Because at this stage, what is really important for us is, as we are super community driven, we really love to develop our collaboration platform in close collaboration with our customers to really make sure that what we are building helps them best. And then once we nailed everything down, then we like to openly launch it and make it publicly available for everyone. As I said, we just closed our funding round and are therefore now happy to have the capacity of onboarding also new customers to it. And you're perfectly right. There's no pricing on the website currently. So you have to come on a call with us. There you have the opportunity of talking to us. You can really schedule a call with Jens or me, discuss with us what suits you best and what you like about it, what maybe you don't like, share your feedback with us. And then we're super happy to give you access to the platform. As I said, it's early access, so you're basically one of the first who are allowed to use the software already. And we are super happy of finding an individual solution for your company. So at this stage, it's as we said, it's all about community. So at least we believe that we would really love to find an individual solution that suits your company, and therefore we don't put a pricing up there that might be too high for a smaller team. But where like the bigger enterprises are like, well, okay, if that's so cheap, maybe it's not really the quality that we're looking for. And as we're not willing to scare both of these players, we just say, hey, come to a call with us, see what we're currently building, and discuss it with us, collaborate on it together with us. And therefore, if you would like to get access to it, please just feel free to schedule a call with us, and we will be happy to onboard you.
Okay. Yeah, I understand. It's kind of like, yeah, I get what you're saying. It makes sense, but it's always every time you see that you go to a restaurant and you look at some food and they say market price, and you're like, what does that mean? So sometimes if you have to ask, it means you can't afford it. Is another kind of reply you sometimes get to. But I understand.
Yeah, and I mean, we are also really looking forward to the future, because it won't take so much time anymore until we put a transparent price for everyone up there, and until we like have tiers available where we say, okay, that's a tier for a small company, that's something for a bigger company, that's maybe something for another type of company. But yeah, so the message that we just want to get out there, if you like to benefit from Widgetbook Cloud, we are super happy in enabling you and allowing you to do so.
Yeah, so I think kind of to make it simple, right? So these kind of cloud features where you do a lot of more analysis, comparing instant building of widget books for everybody to share, etc. That's really the paid stuff. But the core of this is the open source, is kind of the easy way to let people know what's available. So maybe a good thing is, hey, try it locally, see how it works for you. If you find it's not easy to share, or you want to be able to share it easier, find more of these kind of cool features, then speak with you guys about getting the pro package.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and of course, we're also working on new exciting features that you can benefit from if you're one of our users. And there we also really make sure to include you right from the beginning, and we shape those new features together with you. Something that we can also already announce here is that we're currently working on a Figma integration for Widgetbook, and together with our team, we just created a great first prototype. We're currently testing it not only with our existing customers, but also with new potential customers, or with existing users of the open source package. And here we're also super happy of getting more qualitative, great feedback from professional Flutter teams. So if you're out there and you think, wow, okay, the last missing piece for me was that they have a Figma integration, also feel free to reach out to us. We're super happy to show you what we're currently working on.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm interested in, to be honest. I think the Figma thing would be really cool. It kind of reminds me of, have you guys seen Codelessly already, or no?
Codelessly?
Yeah, Codelessly. I can share you guys the link. Oh, they have something. It's kind of like a WYSIWYG editor for Flutter, but you use Figma. I'll drop into the chat for you guys. But you use Figma to design it, and it'll output Flutter code for you to use. So when you're saying that you have integration with Figma, I can only imagine something like this.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we definitely gonna check it out right after the call. Yeah.
Yeah, we actually did an episode with them, so you can check it out. I think I believe he showed. Yeah. He also did a demo too. So check out. Are you guys subscribers to the YouTube channel? You haven't seen the episode yet?
No, unfortunately not. We are currently super busy onboarding our new team members and making sure that everyone is aligned on the goals. And also, of course, we're always supporting our clients as much as possible, and therefore there's not much time to explore different stuff. But we'll make sure to get to it.
I recommend you check it out, because there could be some room for collaboration or sharing of ideas. Because, I mean, to a certain extent, because Flutter is like a UI tool, it only makes sense that it'd be nice to be able to design most, if not all of it, in Figma, export that to some type of code that then you can massage to what you want, or add in the missing fields. Like for instance, if you just design like what you're showing on the screen right now is your famous kind of like the title bar at the top. It's easy to put some very simple couple of keystrokes into the top. You're going to get on the left where it actually overflows, where on the right you fix the overflow problem. That would require some hands to change, right? Which may not be possible in Figma. Because Figma, you'd probably just put the same. You just put the dot yourself, and Flutter would have no idea that's what you want for a longer title, right?
Yeah. We maybe have to make sure to come back to the show once we release an MVP of the Figma integration.
Yeah, and I think you guys said that you have a version 3 or something, or maybe I misunderstood because we had some discussion at the beginning.
Yeah, that was about the open source package. So
okay,
on the open source package, we're currently on version 2.4.1 or something. Jens, correct me if I'm wrong. 2.4 something. Oh yeah, Jens,
you're correct.
Jens says okay, correct. Yeah, 2.4.1. Great. We're currently like really heavily investing in the open source package as well to make it even better. And yeah, there are some problems that were hard to fix, but we're currently on it. And yeah, we're soon going to release a Widgetbook 3.0 version. I mean, it's already up there on PubDev in the beta mode, but it's not stable yet. But on Monday, I actually had a discussion with a client of ours who have been using it already. And fortunately, they're not complaining that it sometimes crashes. I mean, it's not stable yet. But it's going to be soon. So if you are new to Widgetbook, like to get started, either go with the 2.4.1, but you could also already go with the 3.0. And we are always super happy of getting your feedback. And as we said, we are super community driven. So we set up a Discord server which you could join. There. Most of the time, either Jens can answer your questions or someone else from our team. But we also see that our users are already helping each other, which is also great. So we are really trying to support you as much as possible if you like to try out Widgetbook.
I just want to say you have Charles Steinmetz is saying Paderborn being very well represented. Maybe it's a friend of yours or a neighbor.
Maybe. So what we're doing in Paderborn is also we're hosting Flutter meetups here. So the T-shirt that I'm wearing, for example, is a T-shirt that we got from hosting regular meetups here in Germany. So I think it was around April. We also had a bigger collaboration with Flutter Munich and Flutter Berlin, where we hosted the Flutter Festival Germany together. So we're also heavily involved in the community and would like to push Flutter as much as possible.
Okay, yeah, I think this is pretty cool. I might want to check out the open source version real quick to see how it goes. I can imagine. I just sent a link over to a client of mine to see if he likes it or not. I'm sure he would love it because he's always curious about how we're doing so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have any more questions unless you have some ideas of your roadmap coming up.
Yeah, so I mean, as we said, we are currently working on the Figma integration, and what's going to happen soon is that we will announce, hey, you can jump on a call with us and test our latest features. So if there's anyone interested in a Figma integration with Widgetbook, they can definitely reach out to us and get a first glance at it, give us their feedback. And the good thing is, at this current early stage, we are able to really adapt quickly to the feedback of our users and are able to really customize it according to their team's needs as best as possible.
Yeah, again, like I said, I don't think I have any more questions, but I think you guys did have a couple of shout outs or call to actions, right?
Yeah. So basically, what we can always suggest you to do if you have not had the chance of basically using Widgetbook prior to this, we can always recommend you to check out our website. I also put it up in the YouTube stream here. It's available on the widgetbook.io. Here, what we can also see live is there's a live chat also on the website. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Elena. She's our community manager, and you can also just set up calls together with us. You can, as we said, you can book a demo here directly with me. You could also get access here to both either the open source package or also the collaboration platform if you'd like to go for it. Also discuss, as we said, Figma integration together with us. What might also be interesting for our users is that we have a very detailed documentation page. It's available on the docs.widgetbook.io. It's set up with the amazing solution from Invertase. So shoutouts to some good Flutter friends there. They built a great solution of documenting, of building like an open source documentation tool. And here we give you all the information of not only getting started with the open source package, but also with the cloud. And then what you could check out as well, of course, is our pubdev site. There you're searching for Widgetbook there, you find our package and can download it. And on the package, you would then also find the link to our Discord server, which you could join. And here we're always super happy to help you as fast as possible.
Awesome. Yeah, I just got into the Discord, so looking forward to seeing announcements over there too.
Awesome, cool.
Jens, I feel you didn't say enough today. Is there anything you wanted to discuss? Maybe talk about, what's the most horrible part of working on Widgetbook? Because I can imagine there's lots of technical issues you run into.
Yeah, the working hours are pretty rough, but working with such an amazing team is obviously something that also fuels me. And to also like connect a little bit to Lucas here and to the Discord. We are currently building Widgetbook 3, the new release. If you are now trying Widgetbook after listening to this, or if you have anything that you would like to see in the new release, let us know on Discord. We love to chat, love to help you out, and would also love to hear like feature requests and a request for improving maybe areas that we currently struggle with. So as Lucas said, let us know, join our Discord, and we can make the whole community, the whole Widgetbook even better.
Awesome. Well, thanks you guys for coming on and discussing what's going on with Widgetbook. And I appreciate that you guys took the hard question of where's the pricing and answered it very thoughtfully and very clearly. And I understand your side, right? It's always difficult. It's like, is it too cheap? Is it too expensive? Is it too cheap for these guys, but too expensive for these guys? How to price yourself in and out, right? It's not easy. Cool. Again, thank you guys for coming on, and maybe we'll hear what's going on in the future for Widgetbook, because it seems like there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff happening. I can already feel that there's a lot of ideas and stuff that you guys have coming up for the future.
Right, and I mean one shout out we can maybe do is we're currently hiring a senior UI UX designer. So if there's someone out there that is like, wow, a collaboration platform for developers and designers, that was exactly my problem for I don't know how many years already. If I'd like to work on it to solve it, super happy to chat with them.
Okay, and with that, that's the end of the episode. And thank you guys for your time, and hopefully see you guys again soon.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Alan. See you.
Thanks for having us. See you.